Okay, listen, before I forget, I wanted to let you know about this session thing I've been doing lately, and it's been really, really cool for a lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs, even medium-sized businesses. And what it is I'm doing free discovery calls to just check the temperature. Let's see how you're doing with social media. Have you started a campaign? Are you sporadic? Any questions that you have about social media, I would love to help answer them. Now, all you need to do is go into the detail area below the description and check out the Calendly link I put in for you. All you need to do is go ahead and click that, book some time for us, and we can continue this conversation. If you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, somebody in business generally, and you are thinking about incorporating social media or a social media campaign into your business, this episode is absolutely for you. So I wanted to start off by saying, good on you. Good on you for taking on something that's quite epic, and there's a lot of layers, and this is something that can actually quickly, if anything, quickly bring your brand awareness to the forefront and get you found a bit sooner than traditional advertising or the same sort of recognition that a word of mouth campaign would be like. So a word of mouth campaign is something where if you were to hear from somebody else that you trust, that you know that's in your circle or your network, and they recommend something or a product to you, that is what's called word of mouth in marketing. So social media is very similar to that. And what we have the advantage to do on social media is that we visualize what the concept is, what the product or service is, and we quickly translate that into a trusted or a possible purchase. And how we do that and how we strategize that are very simple steps to do it. But before we even get into that, this episode is titled "Take Me on Your Next Social Media Meeting" for a reason. There are so many different types of perspectives as there are personalities. Does that mean some of them are wrong and some of them are right? Sure. But what I would say to you is let's look at a very data-driven, social media engaging, and especially from an SEO perspective. One of the things that we do at Social Global Grind is that we not only educate our client in what to look for, but we also educate an internal team, like if you have a social media team or a marketing team that wants to get started with social media, we are usually the company that will help. And personally, I love doing this kind of work, as I work hand in hand with the team to show them how to really push forward a campaign that not only responds to whatever it is that you want to showcase in branding, but also really get it noticed. Specifically, we use a technique called social collab, and social collab is a process that we use to help build the SEO presence of your product or service. Now, let's talk a little bit about SEO. It was something that we probably hear a lot. If you're a business owner or even in marketing, we hear SEO a lot. And what that means is social engine optimization. So that's a technical term. The social engine optimization is how you are found on websites or Google search website in particular, or perhaps Bing, any sort of search engine that you would have. Now, search engines are also different. Aside from Google, Pinterest is also something that is quite often used just like Google and is classified as a search engine as well. And if you think about like something, I know, like in the pandemic when everybody was baking bread, we all went to Pinterest to find out who's baking bread, where's the videos, how's step by step, and all of that. So we were researching on Pinterest, how do you bake or how do you make bread? So that is the origin of how, you want to find something out. Now, The smart companies that might be selling, I don't know, flour or baking agents, maybe even baking dishware, could completely capitalize on this on Pinterest if they were smart, if they understood that, hey, this is a keyword phrase that a lot of people are using on Pinterest, we can do that. So why I say take me on to your next social media meeting is because there's all these little tiny intricate sort of elements that a lot of us don't know because we just don't know. And it's not your fault. You're running a business. You're managing people. You are pushing through invoices. You're making sure you did invoice. Like there's so many elements in a business. I mean, how can you do every single thing? And social media is a beast. It's an absolute beast unless you really, really tamed a dragon, so to speak. So part of it is the education piece. What do I need to know? How can I execute this well? How can I speak to my team about this? How can I get out of it? Because honestly, business owners or people that are pushing the campaigns or the momentum, the creators, I mean, they're the top creators in my perspective. They are people that understand the brand and where they want to go. And yes, it would be fun for them to do social media, maybe do a video, and but they really do need help. With that said, a lot of business owners will go to a junior type professional, meaning it's an intern or a family member, somebody that is just starting out, and then they got all of your social media stuff. Now, I always talk about this particular element because it could be quite dangerous. It's something like, you think social media is expensive, wait till you hire an amateur. Like it's really expensive when you hire somebody that doesn't have the strategy, the concepts in mind, the SEO place, because what you do is you actually pump more money into it, getting it right than you would in the beginning stages of it. And I always talk about, let's just get it right. Even if it's you getting educated on how to do it. So before we get started, one other thing that I want to do is I'm going to actually put a link to that says get started here. And that's going to take you to our mechanism on really understanding what Social Collab is. So if you get overwhelmed at any time, you can either A, click and have a free session with me and I can tell you where to get started, or B, you can actually be one of our students and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and link those on the bottom. Now, there are so many common misconceptions, about social media, and especially for small businesses. Like one of the things that we see coming through when people are looking for help is they really, really would like those Facebook likes, and they also would like to run ads. Facebook and Meta have made it so hard to get those two elements. It's unbecoming. It's absolutely a waste of time. So Facebook likes are not relevant since May 2018, and they made it that way. They really want to have your company engage with audience members if you are running an ad. Now, if anybody's run a Facebook ad, you know how clunky it is. You know that you can't get any support, and a lot of the time they're relying that you're going to be happy on a word called impressions. Impressions mean that on the peripheral view that your ad has been, produced in front of people. So I would just say there are other ways to get that kind of high velocity, high turnaround that's a bit more trusted than anything that is Meta. And something like other platforms like that would be LinkedIn and Pinterest. Absolutely, if you really want a quicker turnaround, then TikTok is your person to really, or platform, I should say, to really scale that campaign. Now, it's important to know, what actually is in line with your campaign, and just be open to the process. I mean, TikTok for a lot of people are just like, whoa, I'm not dancing. I'm not dancing. I'm not going to do it. There's nothing about TikTok that our company is going to do. And I would even say finance companies in particular, anybody that is, I think what's really, really interesting is we've seen a huge surge in lawyers coming on TikTok because of the Johnny Depp trial, right? So Any industry that is very corporate can do this with dignity if it's around an education piece. So don't be afraid of TikTok. You don't have to just always come and dance on it. That's not what it's all about. Let's talk about campaign goals. So campaign goals are like just setting achievable campaign goals is a start. No one can promise a viral video for sure or a campaign. So know that when you're talking to somebody that wants to do this for you, no one can promise the stars and the moon. They could only promise that engagement with you. So therefore, there's going to be a lot of trial and misses, what I call. So sometimes you'll have an idea, you'll put it out there, you see how it goes, and it flops. Something that you didn't put a lot of energy into, but it still brings in the message, that goes viral. Like nobody knows what that is going to be like, but the conversation should be about, well, like what we do is if we have a number of posts that we will help create, they'll get approved, and then we schedule them out. But we really work with that business to also get them to send us videos that they recorded themselves, and then we edit them and we, make them really look great so we can post them on social media. So it's like a kind of almost like a giver's gain process where you keep giving and you will eventually gain that recognition on Pinterest, on social media in general, not just Pinterest, because you're being consistent, you're always in the forefront, and you're always telling a story. And that really is part of that piece. Also, when you are having that meeting with a social media provider or even another agency, the key question to ask, and then you kind of sort of can gauge where they're at in terms of what level they are, is if you want visibility for your brand, ask them, what steps will they do to make my brand more discoverable? And if they keep on talking about ads, that's like 2% of what they should be doing. It shouldn't be the whole thing. You know what I mean? So if that is your number one goal in a small business, then how are they going to bring that to the table? What are they going to do to make that achievable? And listen in on what they're saying. If they are just throwing words out there, we'll get community engagement, we'll just do a lot of frequent posts, we'll make sure that it's the right time to post, and that just like a lot of what I call agency slang, and they're just sort of trying to make it sound like they know what they're doing it. You almost have to slow them down and go, okay, break it down for me. So when you say engagement, what does that look like? And do a little pushback. Like I just, what does that mean? Tell me a little bit about that process. What is your process? And a lot of the time you can tell immediately just by the nervousness of if they are or what they're doing, if they actually know what they're doing. And unfortunately here in New Zealand, there's a lot of people that don't quite understand all of the mechanisms just yet. And that's not their fault of their own. We're just a little bit behind, but we're going to get there. All of us are going to, really rise above all of that and learn more as we go on. It just seems like the business community actually has to drive it. So if you're a small business owner in New Zealand in particular, if you are actually doing the community a favor by doing a social media campaign, so we can grow from you and grow together. So I always encourage people, like, don't let it stop you. Just keep going. If you're listening to my podcast, then that's amazing. You're there, and you can listen to a lot of other podcasts that really talk about social media. There's no reason why you can't learn this, as you carry on in business. Also, how willing are you and your staff able to get in front of the phone or a camera and tell your brand story? There is a two-way street here. You also have to contribute to the content. So one of the things that I always talk about is like, don't look at the video. I do it all the time. I have to do videos and I hate it. I'm going to tell you straight truth. I hate doing videos, but I now just look at the camera I'll sort of quickly look at it and then send it off to be edited, or I edit it myself, put placards on it and just publish like really quick. Or lives. I think that's my other thing is just don't look at it. Just look in the camera, smile. Because the truth is when you're doing videos and when you're talking to friends, you don't adjust your clothing. You don't put tons of makeup and, you're not doing your hair every 2 seconds. You're not adjusting things. None of that is at play. You're just having a conversation. And the more that you come off in a very realistic light and having a straightforward conversation, those are the videos that do so well. I encourage you to do a lot of them. So back to like common misconceptions about social media and things you should know before you take that meeting so you can be aware of what is real and what is fluff. You know what I mean? So, things that you need to know are like, so we talked about Facebooks. They're rarely relevant. Or Facebook and as a campaign is rarely relevant. Getting likes on a business page is near to impossible and doesn't mean anything. Like Facebook is not going to give you a gold star or push out your content. It doesn't mean anything. Honestly, they built it that way now where the engagement should will only be on an ad placement. And it's just a waste of your time and money. TikTok and generally speaking, they strive to push out your content organically, especially if you are a business. They really would like you to try their ad dollars and that mechanism. So no, you don't have to dance. You could do explainer videos, and explainer videos are basically videos or still images with text over them as a video or on a video form. So think of like CNN or BBC. You will see that when they tell stories that they often will have either just still imagery with, just words over it, and sometimes sinister music underneath. It's quite funny how they even use music to show and pull what the mood is when you're watching something. So you can do something easily like that on Canva or another product called Lumen 5, which we use here at the agency. Your Instagram feed doesn't have to be pretty to achieve your business or sales goals. Often, some of the highly engaged Instagram feeds are really sloppy looking when you're looking at their board. But what is meaningful is actually what the story is, what the storytelling is. Is it a good video? Those are the things that actually move it. It used to be like a lookbook for companies, like, okay, it's got to look really pristine. But since the new algorithm change and how it looks, especially if you do a carousel, they can look quite pixelated and really off. So, consistently adding a video is just the best way to go for sure. Getting a dedicated assistant to your social media campaign is great. If you get a dedicated assistant or somebody that works with you, or even hiring a virtual assistant, somebody that closely works with you in the social media, pulling images, creating videos, getting all of those little points of what you want to achieve for a campaign, and creating content 2 weeks in advance, and then you quickly getting that approval there will help them so much. It'll actually help your campaign. So if you do 2 to 3 weeks in advance in terms of like, okay, these are all been approved, that is amazing. And you will start to gain the momentum that you want to see. Let's see, what else? So getting that assistant. One other thing, if you're interviewing a potential social media provider, ask about what type of accounts they worked on. Specifically, how many businesses have they worked with? Now, a lot of people don't ask this. It's kind of, social media just sold, you're hired. That is kind of the way that we're doing it. But really ask them, what level, what size of business have they worked with? What kind of companies have they done? Now, this is another thing, though. If you're selling baked goods and they have done social media for, medical devices, you don't have to find somebody that does baked goods. You just have to see what their process is. Because I will say I've done every single industry, every odd little, widget you can think of or service. And we've done it because the elements remain the same. But what you want to do is just look at their style. Look to see how their imagery looks out. Is it modern? Is it upmarket? Is it upscale? Is it something that you really feel is a part of the brand? Maybe even asking them, can you just do me one sample image here, and have them work in front of you? Let's see what they're doing. Like if they pull out their phone, that's great. Or if they show you like, yeah, well, that kind of takes a little time, but I can show you some of my past work. And if they're good about it and they're smart about it, they can actually go to either their own Instagram account. That's another telling thing, by the way. If they have a good Instagram account, they're good. If they haven't posted in a while, that's always a red flag. And hello, I was definitely one of those people. But the truth of the matter is that you gotta, you're either talking the talk or walking the walk. And having a Instagram account that's connected to your company is the walk, right? You're demonstrating, you're showing, you're showcasing exactly what you do. You're promoting people that you've done work with in the past. All of that should be there. If they're not landing it, if they don't have it, that is something that is a little worrisome. I'd say that's an absolute red flag. And just keep looking, keep seeing. Don't just hire the first person that says yes. Now, I also want to put out there, if you still have questions or you're not sure exactly how to do it, we work virtually with everybody around the world, and we have various costings on how to do it. I mean, really, we're still at a place and we're developing something where we can do this on a scale where we can reach more people, reach more small businesses, and it's like in every time zone. So if this is something that's interesting to you, or, let us know. Let's have that chat. And if you have any questions, just let me know. You can either email me at francesca@socialglobalgrind.com, or you can click on the links below and we can finally have that chat, you and me, talking about your business and how we can go forward together. Thank you so much for listening. This is Francesca with Social Global Grind, and I can hardly wait to hear from you in the next podcast. Like many small business owners, doing all the things to run a successful business, like keeping the lights on and introducing new clients to your business, can be overwhelming, let alone the planning, learning, and executing your social media. Introducing Social COLLAB. Social COLLAB is designed to make the process of social media easy. If you have a small team, or even if you're on your own, we have designed Social COLLAB just for you. We have modeled Social COLLAB after solo business owners and that we've worked with internationally, and produces content that you're proud of and also has meaningful engagement. Your next step is to click below on our Calendly link and book a discovery call today. Mention this podcast for a special limited time offer.